Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Warning: this video may contain explicit descriptions of drug use, violence, and sexual situations. Viewer discretion is advised as this content may not be suitable for all audiences.
Hello and welcome to this video. Today we are going back into the world of Hunter S. Thompson's Kingdom of Fear. Right now we are him sending a letter or a telegram or a message to a judge about, or a county official, I should say, about a arrest that was made and how the cop basically abused his authority. So let's continue on.
Yes, sir. The fat is in the fire. Today's pig is tomorrow's bacon.
Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. It's nice when it does, but you know.
Whoops. Sorry. But rest easy. I will come in, probably today, and surrender again. And a whole legion of falsely accused drunkards will come with me. And they all hate Mark Furman. But not me, Lawson. I don't hate anybody. I am a child of God of the New Age Buddhist persuasion.
Yeah, we'll get into some more of that later on in this book.
And I love to go to court, because that is where justice lives, and you know how I feel about justice.
Yes, he does. He has very, very strong feelings.
Indeed. Your time is coming, whore face. When I get your lame ass in court, you'll wish you'd been run over and killed by a Buick when you were 6 years old.
Yeah, Thompson tends not to pull very many punches. Well, doesn't pull any punches, and sometimes he puts a little extra oomph in some of his punches.
We will skewer those swine on worldwide TV and put them in prison for perjury. Nobody in this valley will ever see them again. You filthy, stinking animal. Do you know what misprison of a felony means? Or aggravated conspiracy to...
Yeah. Thompson gets on a roll sometimes.
Obstruct justice? Are you aware of the terrible punishment that awaits a Maine pig like you? Okay, that's it. I'll surrender at noon on Wednesday.
Yeah, Thompson is, yeah, Hunter S. Thompson he's out there. Not really out there. He's standing up for us people that can't, or he did stand up for us people that can't.
The Sharp Necklace Agreement. The parties to this case agree to the following. 1. That driving while one's ability is impaired by alcohol is dangerous to the health and safety of the public and must be avoided at all costs.
Agreed.
2. That statements by police officers which are inaccurate or untruthful are dangerous to the administration of justice and must be avoided at all costs.
Agreed.
3. That it is an important function of police officers to enforce Colorado law prohibiting alcohol-impaired driving, and that failure to enforce those laws vigorously would comprise a serious breach of duty and violation of public trust on the part of police.
Agreed. And not just only in Colorado, but all around the nation. You got to understand, too, in my lifetime, it has been, we have gone from very lax, lenient rules on driving while intoxicated. Then we went through an extreme criminalization of it. And now we're just now beginning to find the middle ground. like I said, in my lifetime in the 1990s, I've talked about this in other videos. I had a friend get pulled over, DWI. The cop didn't write him a ticket. Cop took and threw his keys out in the middle of a field. And this was the early days of cell phones, like, you know, when Nokia was king. You know, when you had your candy bar phones. And so he called me. I drove out. We went out in the field. We got his keys. I drove him home. We went out the next day, got his car. And, you know, that stuff like that has happened in my life. Hell, it's in the 1990s. Mid-1990s, in fact. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's just, and we went through a period where I had friends who were got pulled over drunk driving and went straight to jail. Impounded the car, went to jail, you know, spent the night in jail, sobered up, had to pay an impound fee plus the ticket, and, you know, it's just hopefully at some point we'll find a good middle ground, where the appropriate punishment fits what the person was doing. Were they just weaving a little bit, or were they crazy? Were they endangering, you know?
4. That it is an essential quality of police officers to be free of enmity or bias against any individual or group of individuals in the community they serve, and that for any officer to act or even appear to act out of any such enmity or bias would constitute an abuse of power and a violation of public trust.
Once again, pull up a map of the U.S. Gulf Coast. And all those states there, they need to read that. They need to adhere to that. You know, they need to adopt that policy. Especially on the state on the far western side of the U.S. Gulf Coast and the one on the far eastern side of the U.S. Gulf Coast. Those two states in particular.
5. That although Colorado law does not prohibit driving after drinking anything, clearly the wisest choice is not to drive after having anything alcoholic to drink, including after drinking a sufficient amount to obtain a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08.
And I agree with that as well.
6. That decency, security, and liberty alike demand that government officials shall be subjected to the same rules of conduct that are commands to the citizen. In a government of laws, existence of the government will be imperiled if it fails to observe the law scrupulously.
Yes, agreed wholeheartedly.
Our government is the potent, the omnipresent teacher. For good or ill, it teaches the whole people by its example. Crime is contagious. If the government becomes a lawbreaker, it breeds contempt for the law.
Yes, it does. I don't know if it's in this bit, but there's a quote of Thompson's, and I can't remember the exact quote right off the top of my head, but it goes along the lines that you cannot expect the everyday citizen to respect cops until we teach cops to respect the law and the everyday citizen.
It invites every man to become a law unto himself. It invites anarchy. To declare that in the administration of the criminal law the end justifies the means, to declare that the government may commit crimes in order to secure the conviction of a private criminal, would bring terrible retribution.
And yes, but that still happens today. Go back to your map of the U.S. Gulf Coast.
7. The parties agree mistakes and or errors in judgment have been made by all parties, that each party will strive to avoid any such errors in the future, and that it is in the best interest of justice to go forward with the tendered agreement.
Yes, very much so. Like I keep saying, I've said over and over in this video, A lot more states need to adopt, in good faith, I should say, adopt in good faith these policies, because you can adopt them in bad faith or just adopt them and ignore them, which happens a lot. A lot of political leanings tend to only adhere to the things that are convenient to their political ideology. And like I said before, it's not necessarily a liberal or conservative thing. It's a politicians trying to stay in power thing, regardless of political party affiliation or belief. It's about power, keeping it, and maintaining it. And I think with that, we'll go ahead and call this video good. And until next time, be a good human. Be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?